Hey folks, welcome to Helen, Roscoe Yoga on YouTube. I hope you're well. This short practice is going to explore some postures that will hopefully connect you to feeling a little bit more spacious around the heart and the chest area. In yoga, we talk about this part of the body as the heart space, and we're not just talking about the place of the physical heart. We're thinking about something that's a little bit deeper than that. So we're thinking about our true self. Could be quite a loaded word, but thinking about kind of taking back the layers to find something that feels more free within us. If you think of all the kind of years and years and years worth of experiences and memories and conversations and relationships and how that has kind of built up an idea of who we are, we just want to kind of strip that back a little bit so that we can begin to connect to that sense of truth. And we're going to do that through a series of postures which I hope will kind of embody that feeling of just opening a little. The Latin word of courage is ku, which translates to also mean heart. So courage and heart coming together in the practice today.
So you don't really need much for this practice, but what I would say is that you have space to move freely. It's going to be quite low to the ground. We're not going to do any standing postures within this sequence. There will be some kneeling, so access to a blanket if you need to, just kind of padding out those knees. Otherwise, just take your time to get ready, and we will start in a seated position, just kind of whichever position you find is most comfortable for you. That could be onto a chair, cross-legged, or you could rest against a wall. We'll just take a few moments to center ourselves and come into the breath. Just inviting yourself to soften towards the earth, settling down through your seat. Sigh the breath out a few times. Invite some sound through your sigh. And once more. And starting to notice how it feels to breathe in. The touch of the air in the nostrils is cool. The rib cage spacious, your shoulders away from your ears. Notice how it feels to breathe out, and softening through the sit bones, through your seat towards the earth. And with each breath in, you're starting to invite your inhales to deepen so that the chest, the heart space, feels a little bit more spacious. And with each breath out, and emptying and letting go of the breath, find that support from the earth. To be open-hearted takes courage and support. Let the earth, let the ground be the support for your possibility, your potential to be open-hearted in your practice today. And when you're ready, just start to transition yourself onto all fours, just taking that extra padding for your knees and your wrists where you need to. Invite your shoulders to be away from your ears, lightly drawing your navel in towards the spine, just finding a neutral spine. And on your next exhale, just rounding in through your lower back, along the spine to the top of your head. And on the inhale, release the tailbone, and then ripple that space along your spine as you lift your chest, your chin a little. And then on the exhale, rounding through the navel, lifting up through the back of the body. And on the inhale, opening and lengthening along the front of the body. And you offer your spine some much needed space and extension. And then on the exhale, gathering in and rounding, the spine can flex. Your body lifts through the front. And on the inhale, lengthening. And just inviting yourself to connect with the theme of being open-hearted as you come in through on those inhalations, a sense of space and openness around your chest, around your heart. Just letting your breath naturally lengthen without any force. And when you come back on the next inhale, just finding that neutral position. So neutral is when you're between those 2 points, between the lift and the extension. You feel evenly placed through your hands and your feet. And then start to encourage your hips to just inch themselves back towards your heels, breathing out. And then inhale and just start to sway forwards a little, opening a little through the front of your hips. And then exhale and start to extend a little further through your hips towards your heels. And then inhale and extend a little further through the front of the hips. So just going between, almost like a pendulum, in the direction of your heels and then towards your hands with your hips. And just focus on length through the lower back into the tailbone as you stretch the hips back, bending the knees more deeply each time. And then on the inhale, opening through the hips and then through the front of the torso, but without kind of dropping your tummy down towards the ground. So a sense of support in your navel, keeping the navel slightly drawn in towards the spine. When you come through on those inhalations, invite your shoulders to be away from your ears so you're not gathering tension. And as you take the hips back on the exhalations, just be mindful of your knees and your lower back, that you're only moving within a range that is serving you, that it feels like it's going to honour what's happening in your body. Likewise, when you come forwards, kind of avoiding that drop through can be really useful for your lower back. So just explore this maybe 2 or 3 more times, just finding your range. Maybe there's a little bit more pace, perhaps not. We just want to work within a range that feels useful for us today. And the next time that you take your hips back, just start to inch yourself into that space. Coming into an extended child's pose, you could have your hips sway a little from one side to the other. If your forehead can come down, just invite it to the mat. Otherwise, you could keep your hips a little more raised and your forehead on your hands. Invite a gentle sway. And just slowly softening towards the ground. I'd like you to find a cushion or a yoga block if you have one. A folded blanket would also work, or a towel, and place it in front of you so that you can rest your head onto the block. If one block or one blanket is too thin and you feel a little bit hunched, a little bit cramped here in the body, find another one. Keep lifting that angle up so it's not quite so close. So just take your time to rest your head onto a support. Bring your hands onto your lower back. And just focusing on that sense of open-heartedness. As you breathe in, lift the chest, peel the arms away and rise, making a circle with your hands. And then on the exhale, releasing down through the body, the hands to the lower back, the head to the support. And exploring this at least 6 times at your own pace. You just enjoy that opening of the chest, lifting, lengthening, and then enveloping yourself within that circle of your arms around you. And take your time to breathe into that expanse, that courage, lifting, the heart opening, and then softening and rounding. And just taking yourself through that 6 times or so. When you come up on the 6th round, sweep your hands to the right side and turn the torso to your right. Inhale and come to center. Exhale, sweep your hands to the left side and turn your torso to the left. Come back to center, lower your right arm down, lean in the direction of the right hand side. Inhale, center. Exhale the left arm down, lean towards the left. Come back, exhale towards the ground. So we'll do that again twice more, so you really have an opportunity to kind of find a new flow, offer some rotation for your spine. This open-hearted quality of moving around the space that you're in, from one side to the other, from the ground up and back down again. And once more, when you're ready, let your breath guide you without any force. Just smiling the body from one side to the other, finding places where you can be open and spacious. And when you complete, just lower your arms down. Your hands come onto your thighs. And just pause. Find some stillness. And then in your time, just sliding out onto the front of your body. Your arms want to be beside the rib cage, or you could have them in a cactus position. Your forehead on the ground, your feet are on the ground, your legs, pelvis resting. And the next time that you breathe in, lift from the chest. Think of this open-hearted nature of lifting through the chest, lifting the head, rising, and then on the exhale you can lower down. If you'd like to, you could always turn your head to one side. And then on the inhale, bring yourself to center again. And then exhale and lower down. So just take your time to explore this from one side to the other with your head if you'd like to. If you'd prefer not to involve the neck movement, just keeping the chin more drawn in. So when you lower down, it's the forehead that reaches the ground. And on the inhalations, this sense of open-hearted lifting helps you lengthen along the spine, finding that space and strength for your spine to extend. And then on the exhale, lower down. And explore that again, maybe twice more. Imagine you could pull yourself forwards into the space in front of you with each breath in, this courage driving you into that space. And when you've done that, just pause for a moment. Turn your head to one side. You could bring your arms beside you. You're welcome to keep your arms in the previous position, or you could bring them beside you for the next option. And when we come in this time, we're going to raise the chest again, that open-hearted lift on a breath in, and the arms can raise. And then on the exhale, lifting your legs. And then breathe in, and as you exhale, lower down. So think about the torso and the arms first. Lifting, or maybe the hands stay on the ground. Maybe that feels more supportive for you. And then the feet lift on an exhale. And then when you reach your bow shape, you can take a breath and then exhale and lower down. And again, so a breath in, the chest, that open-hearted, the arms reach behind you, or maybe they're on the ground beside you. It doesn't matter too much. Just focus on the open-hearted nature of your shape. Sense of lift and rise with the pelvis rooted and grounding you down. And let's try that once more. And just see if you would like to stay for a few breaths. Maybe the hands come down, maybe the feet come down, maybe we focus more on cobra, that sense of rise in the chest. Or if the feet are lifted, just focusing on this expanse of the open heart with each breath in. And then eventually just find the ground, pause, soften down through the body, invite a sigh. So making your way onto your back, just check you have room for your arms to go out beside you. And just slowly start to invite your knees in over your tummy. And you could either do this one leg at a time or both legs together. On a breath in, you extend through the foot or both feet as you take the arms back. So one leg at a time might be more supportive for your back. You could always try both and just see which one works best for you. Want to press through the heels, imagine the feet standing on the ceiling, and then on the exhale, the hands lower down, the knees come in. Just try that a few more times. The chin slightly drawn in towards your throat. And then when you have completed, just start to invite your feet down to the ground. Focus on one leg at a time, so the feet are fairly close to each other. And your hands can rest out on the ground at shoulder level, palms facing up. And just focus on one leg at a time. On a breath in, lower your right knee out to the side, your left foot stays on the floor. And then exhale and bring the foot of the right knee, right leg on the mat. And then inhale the left side. And explore that maybe 2 or 3 times each side. So you're just starting to come into your hips, into your pelvis, your thighs, outer hips, inner edges of the thighs, rolling across the feet. The back of your shoulders and your head are fairly anchored here, so we're not changing too much about the position of our upper body. And when you've done that 2 or 3 times each side, then you have the option to work with both knees together. So you take the knees apart from one another and roll onto the outer edges of the feet. And then you can exhale and bring the inner edges of the thighs, the knees and the feet to the ground. And when you've done that a few times, maybe stay for a breath. Let the exhale be the part of the breath cycle that brings the knees and the feet together. And then when you come in again, you could stay for another breath or 2. And this time just linking to the open-hearted nature of the space in your body. You're very open here. So just thinking about this openness within you. Breathe into that space. You have the support of the ground there. You can always come back on an exhale. If you have access to some cushions and you'd like to stay for longer, you could always pad out underneath the thighs, so the outer edges of the thighs kind of coming down as something to rest onto. And that's more for if we want to stay for a bit longer. And then you can focus on the way the body just makes space with each in-breath, coming into this quality of courage, being open-hearted from the support of the ground. Invite yourself to soften with each exhalation. A sense of open-heartedness with each inhalation. And when you're ready to return, just bring the knees towards one another. Invite them to come in over your torso. Just have a little hug, a little rock here from side to side. And then turn over onto one side. Bring yourself up gradually to sit. And we'll do a seated twist. So it could be useful to have a blanket or a cushion underneath your bottom. And we want to guide in the right foot towards the body. You can either leave it on the kind of outer edge so it's in line with the other leg, or you can cross it over that leg. And you can bring your hands around the kind of front of your knee and just take a few moments here to lift up through your chest, that sense of open-heartedness coming through. And then on the exhale, place your right hand behind you, your left arm, your left hand can start to come onto your left thigh. Take a breath in and remain open through the chest, this sense of open-heartedness with each breath in. And then on the exhale, just slowly invite yourself to turn towards the space behind you. And your hand can be flat, or you could be on your fingertips. And this gentle turning of the heart, honouring that direction of your spine, honouring the direction that you're turning towards the space behind you. Anchor down through your sit bones. Exhale and lightly draw your navel in. Inhale to the open-heartedness of your shape. And then slowly return, let your head be the first thing to go. And then your torso can follow. Stretch your leg out in front of you. And then guide the other foot in. So you can either have it alongside, parallel, or draw the foot over. A sense of lift through with the chest as you anchor down through the sit bones. And then the left arm comes behind you, the right hand finds the thigh. You take a breath in, sense of lift and rise in the torso. And then on the exhale, it's a gradual turn. Turning of the spine, turning of your heart with the breath. So with each exhale, inviting your heart and your torso to turn, and just honouring the directions that you're turning within, that you're turning towards, that you're turning away from. And with an exhalation, just start to release. Bring yourself back. One foot comes out in front of you. Just take a moment here. I'm going to do a forward fold. You might like to kind of sit onto a blanket, just raising your bottom a little off the ground. And as you exhale, slide your hands down your legs, soften your knees. You can really soften the knees here, very tension free. The neck and the shoulders. Breath in and rise, a lift with the chest, a lift with the heart. Breath out and round and fold. And then a breath in again. So let's do that a few more times. You're always welcome to stay for a few breaths. And if you come and stay, just think about how you can support the heart, support the chest and the head. Maybe we're going to fold the arms, rest the head onto the arms. Maybe we're able to extend those heels a little further along the ground. If you'd like to come up again, just bringing yourself up, and then maybe once more, just exploring that stay. Or you can keep this dynamic if you'd prefer. There could be a little bit of movement that you'd like to take from one side to the other. And just take your time to return when you're ready. Bringing yourself into a comfortable seat of your choice. It doesn't have to be on the ground. You could come up onto a chair. If you're on the ground, I recommend raising your bottom And just have your arms lightly placed onto your lap. So just take some time to explore the connection again with your seat and the earth. Can you allow yourself to relax a little further into your seat? Let go of any unnecessary tension in your body, in your breath, in your mind. And then bring your awareness to the center of your chest, maybe even place your hand there. And as you breathe in, can you sense this part of you expanding? Can you sense or feel the heart space lifting and rising with every breath in? A sense of open-hearted courage. And then with the exhalation, this support from the ground, you can soften towards, you can let go into. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. So it's a very soft prayer at the center of the chest. And imagine the mudra as a bud of a flower. And the bud opens with every breath in, as if from your heart towards the light of the sun. And you can keep it there for a few rounds of your breath. This expansion, courage and compassion, acceptance, all stemming from the heart, until you're ready to just encapsulate that and gather it in back into your heart space. And just honouring your practice today. I hope you enjoyed the experience, and I look forward to checking in with you very soon.